Okay, well, go ahead, then we're gonna let Deshawn, because she's looking
Nope.
despondent that I
Say
haven't.
it. Let her say she's first. Go for it.
From
Okay.
Chicago, she feisty. Get her out of the way. Get out of the way.
It's okay.
You know, oh, you're talking about pickles. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Deshawn.
Yeah, I
No,
was born in
Tashawn,
Chicago,
go
but
for
I
it.
went to California early on. So
She came to blend with me.
I just wanted. Well, there's a few things with the financial. So first, I wanted to say to Lisa, we had talked about this, I think, 2 sessions ago. It doesn't always have to be some expensive date or dinner. The investment is in, okay, if he can't pay something expensive, then what is he doing? It's better to have a man invest himself to say, all right, I'm going to be creative. I know she really likes this, so I'm going to, create a date that's, we go on a picnic or something that's, still about you guys spending time together and getting to know each other. That doesn't have to cost a lot of money. There's a lot of things that you can do.
Right.
I actually dated a guy who had been laid off, and he had savings and he was looking for another job or whatever, but he gave me those excuses like, oh, well, I'm in between jobs, and so I'm like, okay, but they have the Dollar Theater, there's
Right.
other things you can do. And I'm not pretentious where I'm like, oh, let me see how much you spent. It's not about that. I feel like it's more valuable if you put in the effort to find something creative to do that we can get to know each other better than just, oh yeah, I just put down $200 on a steak dinner or whatever. That's easy. That's a layup.
Yeah.
I think what's more important than income is your spending habits. And Jay, you talked a little bit about that. I mean, because if you make, $200,000 a year, but you spend $190,000 a year, then you're just as broke as somebody who makes $30,000 a year.
Yeah.
So
It's so true.
it doesn't matter. And for, I think women, they think about the income part, but then when you get into the relationship and you are like still broke and trying to figure out how to pay this bill or that, even though he's making a lot of money, it's still stressful and you still aren't comfortable or feeling secure. And so it's really more about, does he have his act together? I mean, is he stable? Does he make good choices in the money that he does have, whether it's 30 or 130,000 versus having the money and then blowing it all the time? Because that's great when you're dating and you're not tied together. But then when you're tied together and you're looking like, I don't know if when I swipe this card, if it's gonna go through, because he always, trying to buy the $500 pair of shoes or whatever he's doing, that's more of a strain on the relationship than the actual how much money is coming in. So I think that's more of what has to be paid attention to. But yes, Lisa, if you're offering to pay for dinner, that is emasculating. Because you're saying like, okay, it's okay, boo, I've got it. I know you can't.
I'm secure my masculinity. Woman can pick up the check. I ain't got no problem with it. Tell them we know when it's time to come, we'll come. But if she feel like she got a little bonus, I'm fine with that. I'm gonna sit there and look. This is good. She'll pay that check, and then I got it next time. I'm just saying.
But that's if she's doing it out of appreciation versus oh, you can't do it.
Oh, okay, I got it.
There's a difference in that, because I believe in doing something every now and then to acknowledge that, hey, I appreciate you. Just like, okay, you open the door for me to get in the car, I'm gonna reach over and make sure that you can get in the car on your side too.
Bronx
that's
tale.
appreciation. But if it's like, oh, it's okay, I know this is outside of your price range, I got it. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times it can be the approach and how you really, how you word it is in how he's going to receive it. So it's one thing to say, oh, I know you can't afford this restaurant, so I'll pay, versus saying, if you want to go to a certain restaurant and he can't afford it, it's different if you say, oh, honey, I know you had a rough week. I just want to take you out and get you some dinner and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? It's a matter of how he'll receive it based off of how you present it.
Right. But I think what part of what Lisa was saying too is like she said, she doesn't have the problem with it. So like what time in the relationship you can tell. I think it's a conversation that needs to be had, because you can tell. I think that men are not going to just come out and say, this don't feel right to me, or I'm a little uncomfortable with this. So how do you facilitate that conversation, to let him know it's not about the money?
Yes.
Well, don't make
Yeah.
it about the money. I mean, if
That's what I'm saying. It's not, we don't make it about the money, but they do. So you have to start that conversation.
Well,
But it does become about the money if you're putting a man in a situation where you know that it's more expensive than what he can afford, because you're putting it out there. You're like, okay, you're putting him in an uncomfortable situation where it becomes about the money, because he's like, well, I want to show you a good time. I want to spend time with you, but you always wanted, and Jay was saying that, if it's always something that's above his means, then you're making it about the money. Because
what I'm saying is this: when you say, I don't want to go someplace, like you said, be creative and stuff. I don't want to go to Bruce Chris. I just want to spend time with you. Matter of fact, we can do a cooking night in the house, but he still walks away from that feeling like we cooking in the house because you don't feel, it's like you can't fix that in a person. You cannot fix that if that's their insecurity.
May I say something on that? I had to learn on that one. That's not an insecurity. That's actually a control part on us. If you understand what I'm saying, is that we're still directing how it should be done, instead of just saying, yeah, I know I would rather be in the house and do something with him, but I need to step into his world and allow him to do it his way and celebrate his way. And Lisa, one thing is that a man always wants to know that he can provide. And when a man feels like he is no longer needed, he will go outside and find someone that needs them.
How about Kanika? I guess she's gone now. Also, by the way, real quick, I don't mean to stop the conversation. We are at the 1 o'clock point. I want to continue to let the video go for another hour. Remember, for all the people that are going to the hiking today, we'll be hiking Stone Mountain. If you guys want to meet at the Walmart on, I forgot what exit that is right after it, I can find it out. And hop in maybe 1 or 2 cars. We can do that to save money to go inside of Stone Mountain. And but if you don't, you can just pay it. Last time I know it was like $8 or $9 to get inside, and I will email out exactly where we can meet up. So just to let everybody know about that. So I was gonna give this another hour to make sure everybody has time, but those that are new, we generally just keep it rolling at this point. So if anybody just wants to talk, ask questions about other things, then it's all good and it's all fun. And I know sometimes, people just want to talk and have adult conversations. So that's me, and then I'm gonna shut up.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
So Lisa, for instance, if a gentleman, or if you're dating someone and I'm, as in you're making the higher income, and I've been in those shoes, what you always don't want them to feel is that that's what they're making. It's an equal part. Like Jay said, when you get to a certain point, it's we, whether you pull out the card or whether he pulls out the card, it's a we situation. But I understand that you're saying, like, I know what it's like to be in those shoes, but we don't want to take a moment of appreciation or honor or pride away from someone that's feeling so proud to say, I know I don't make what this person makes, but they don't make me feel that way. They let me know that whatever I do for them is as appreciated as if I got it from TJ Maxx, or if I got it from Louis Vuitton. You want that person to always feel like they're welcome. We want to do that. And I know, as I'm a 8, and I know that being as a leader, and I'm a take charge person, I had to check myself and still have to check myself on certain things, and making sure that I'm not taking away from anybody or taking away from someone. to make sure that they are highlighted, you know, and it's not intentional, like as in you're trying to steal the show or put them down or any of that. It's just, we have to respect, you know, the views. And it'd be, if a person is not trying to progress, then that's a different story and conversation. But if someone wants to take you out, whether it's Ruth Chris or not, and that may not be your thing, you want to just relax, let them be them and let them celebrate you. Look at it that way. Let them celebrate you.
Yeah, I think that is a really, really good point, because I know for me, that's something that I struggle with, because I have that nurturer. I forget what number that is, but I have that nurturer. And so I want to take care of and make sure that they don't feel bad. But at the same time, I want that relationship where the man is the lead. However, you know, at work, I'm always the lead. I'm the person who's making the decisions and directing other people. And so I'm used to going into that mode. And I think I combine that with my caretaker and don't let him take the lead. And like you said, just celebrating me and honoring me in however way that is for him. So I think you make a good point. Thank you.
Yeah, well, actually, you might want to come next week, because we're going to be talking about the whole thing with strong women and beta men and stuff like that, and little tips. So also, D, you don't have to raise your hand anymore. You can just talk. At this point, we just talk.
Oh, thank you. Wanted to be respectful. I actually wanted to go back to, I think it was Lisa who said it, and then Davida chimed in as well. But this issue about I guess the source of what the whole money issue is for a man, could it not also be, or I'm thinking about it as a controlling issue, not necessarily on the woman's side, although I can see that, but could not also be controlling on his side too? So like, what if you're trying to partner with somebody and, you know, this is your quality of life based on your income is what it is. You're not looking to, you know, downplay what he's bringing to the table or any of that. But if there is a significant contrast there, how are you supposed to bridge that gap? I just want to make sure that I'm understanding us clearly in terms of what, you know, what would be the responsible, appropriate thing to do in order to get him to see that you're not looking to control the situation, but without, I guess, lowering your standards.
Oh my. I could tackle that a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna be a little transparent here. So I come from a large family. It's 13 of us. Mother and father worked hard every day. I don't come from much of nothing. Okay. We didn't have a lot of money, right? But I worked and I worked hard, and I'm now a leader on my job, right? So the thing is, I don't look at, when I see men, as you have to be the boss on your job or anything like that. But when they view me, the expectation is she's a boss, you know? So she's expecting a certain level of income. I think it matters too, like Tejan was saying, it's not the money part as far as a dollar amount, but how you manage it. Because the conversation is, I don't care how much money you make. How do you manage the amount that you make? So like in the beginning of the conversation, I was saying you have to watch somebody for a long time. I wouldn't even know how much that man makes unless he was flossing it. You know, if he just living a regular godly life, going to work every day, taking care of his family or his affairs, he has his own place and stuff like that, that's sufficient, because he's handling his business. I don't care how much money it is. And I wouldn't know until we got into a closer, more intimate relationship where finances were even on the table. You know, does that kind of answer your question? Like the communication, when does it come in when an argument or disagreement is like, or some tension in a relationship where you're like, nah, babe, I'm not trying to go to, I don't know, we keep saying Ruth Chris. I don't even like Ruth Chris, but I'm not trying to go there tonight, and you're like, you keep putting it off. I keep on wanting to go there and you don't want to go, like, when does that conversation come up? I think that's a primary time to say, okay, is it really you don't like Ruth Chris, or what's going on here? And so I think communication is key, like from the jump.
Well, I think also everybody needs to remember, you want to find somebody that's secure and confident. I never said don't find confident guys. I said a lot of guys might not have social confidence, which is confidence to come up to you and ask you for your phone number. Okay, and in those types of situations, but you want a man that is confident. You want a man that's about his stuff. Like, for instance, I can only talk for myself. I guess we lost the other gentleman. But I can only speak for myself. And like I said, I don't have a problem with dating women that make big money. Okay, if I'm dealing with a woman that makes $250,000 a year, $200,000 a year, 150, whatever, I don't have a problem with that. But I'm gonna let her know straight up from the beginning, I'm the man in a relationship, not you. Okay.
Exactly.
And if you're not down with that, I don't care how much money you make. Your money will never ever put you in the man position.
Never.
If that hurts your feelings, then that's fine. I am not the one for you. Okay. Right. But you recognize that with me, I am 100% confident in who I am. I know what I want. I am willing to bend over backwards. It's not, to me, like I said, about money. But if I am put in a situation where she's like, well, I want to go here and I want to do this and I want to do that. And I'm like, well, first of all, it should be about what we want to do. Okay, now it's okay for you to say once or twice, and people, again, on the call have heard me say this before. Twice a month, if a woman wants me to, I don't know, walk around in sandals and socks, for her pleasure, I'm down for it. Okay, but the other 28 to 29 days needs to be about us. Okay, and that's why I say about power and also about trying to move it in one direction or another, because power works that way. And generally people that have money, they want things. They want the things that they worked hard for. So now it's like, okay, well, I want the Mercedes, and baby, I want you in the Mercedes too, because when our friends see us, I don't want you in that Ford F-150. So, you have to think like that. And that's why I say when you're dealing with guys, you have to look for that confidence in them, but you also have to be looking to make sure that the guy's going in the same direction. Now, if he is, like I say, a guy that wants to own his own construction business, but right now he is, just, I don't know, a day laborer or whatever, then that's fine because he has that goal and you should be seeing him working towards those goals. If you don't want to be a VP at a company and then you're talking to a guy that is 100% okay with being in the mailroom, and because of that, he is not confident in where he is. Now, you will find that guy that's in the mailroom and he like, I'm cool with being in the mailroom. And if that's what you want, then that's fine. But see, I think that those are, you have to look at all these things. And that's why it's very complicated because we're really diving in deep now on this one issue. And I think it can be looked at in so many different ways that it might be tricky to keep going. But I think that the main thing, like I say, just speaking from a guy's perspective, he needs confidence. If he's with you and you got big money, he needs even a little bit more confidence. It's just like with me, I am all of 5'9", and I know Davita says she is 5'11". And
5'9" is good. It's in the parameter.
Yeah, it's in the parameter, but I'm just letting you know. See, I could do that because I got that kind of confidence, but there are a lot of dudes, I'll be honest with you, that can't do it.
They don't. And that's the thing. I'll see them at the Walmart and I might be looking and they like, nah, I'm too tall.
Yeah, but I think it's the same thing, whether it's money or whether it's basically a woman is in a higher position of power than a man. And I think, honestly, that's what it comes down to.
The makes a lot of sense, Jay, because I think it's when I see the lack of confidence, the insecurity comes in, and then that's where it causes the friction in the argument about who's paying. But I think the point was also made that I need to let him lead. And I can see, like, just thinking about some of the way that I've presented it in the past, I can see where I didn't let him lead. So I think that's part of it too.
I think that makes sense, what everybody's saying. But I guess what I was trying to get at is that there is another side to that potentially. And I think Jay's comments sort of go in that direction, in that if the person, so if as the woman you're not doing anything to suggest, right, that this is more an issue for you because you're looking to, waive your, your salary or whatever in his face because you're trying to step into the man role, or you're trying to step into controlling him or whatever, right? If that's not what's going on, and the person still is not confident, right, then that could be masking some insecurities that you potentially need to back away from, because
Right.
that you're not going to be able to do anything with that. And I've found that a couple of ways. So I've found that in the person who it's obvious that that's an issue, despite the fact that they're saying it's not. It's an obvious issue.
Right.
And then they try to subject me to a standard that it just doesn't work. Or it comes out in, they say they're fine with it, but then they're living a lifestyle that is outside of their means, right? Because they're trying to essentially be manipulative. They're trying to create a sense of, I guess trying to endear me to what they are making their standard to be, when I never projected that. I just said, come as you are, basically, because I'm looking to meet an authentic person. But if they're not living in their authenticity, and it doesn't have to be money. Sometimes it's money. It could be something else too. It could be other variables too. But if somebody can't see you as a true partner, because they're looking to pretend to be something that they're not, then that's kind of what came to my mind when Lisa was asking the question that she was asking. I mean, I think she's acknowledging that that's not what it was for her, that she saw where she was doing something that really she could adjust. And I think that's great. But I just wanted us to be open to or understand whether there was another side to it potentially that could be a sign that you need to back away from that person.
Yeah, Dan,
that's what I say.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, because I had talked about this maybe last meeting or a couple meetings ago, where it's just in general, I have seen a pattern in my last couple of relationships where it's like the guy seems to kind of want to control or kind of grind me down, just generally because I tend to be a more outspoken woman. And so it's not just the money, it's also just stating my opinion, having an opinion, it's everything. So yeah, I agree with you that sometimes it's that too.
Mm-hmm. Jay, what was the other, you said it and I can't remember. You said that if we wanted to have another forum to revisit, it's something that you've done before. I wasn't around, but I wanted to know, I think it had to do with, can somebody remind me?
It was last week's session. Some of the stuff you're discussing actually came from last week's session.
What was it called?
Some of the computer love. We're just talking about online dating. Is that the one we're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, I did say that. Okay. That's the one. Yes, because like I said, I haven't done that yet. But also, all I could say is I'm very happy to be here and have the dialogue, and I'll definitely be on the next one too.
No, well, thanks. Like I say, we love to have you. I mean, it's always fun. At least it's always fun for me. I mean, it might be boring for everybody else, but
this is good because
no, it's great. We appreciate you, Jail.
It could go so many different ways. It's nice to see the men here, and I'm glad that you're a man and that you have, initiated this conversation. But I advocate all the time for women. Yeah, I'm a outspoken woman too, but I mean, that's not, I don't think that's a negative, you know, because as long as it's within, like God's, I follow the word of God, and I think that it takes all kinds. It has to do with the personalities and compatibility. And but I advocate for women, especially because we really have been pulled the wool over our eyes. Like there's like no men, and I don't believe that lie. I just haven't met the one for me. I just that's what I believe. It hasn't happened yet, you know.
Well, one of the things that I feel like, and you know, I'm hesitant to say it because I put this online and nobody gave me any love for it. But you know, there's a lot of wool that's been pulled over a lot of people's eyes. And if we want to talk about Christian perspective, the devil has had the last 5,000, 6,000, whatever you want to say, years, you know, to destroy your relationship. Trust me, he wasn't just trying to destroy it right now.
Oh no, since the day I was born.
Yeah, well, no, since the day your great 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 person was born.
That's right.
Working to destroy it. So he knows how to destroy it very well. Okay, he's very good at it. And one of the things that he has done, and there's women talking about this, and this might be some women that are on here, and I hope again that you'll give me grace, is that what one of the things that a lot of people have been talking about is that there is this move to try to take away, honestly, the power of men, to take away their leadership role, and they've been trying to say the last part again, Lisa.
Oh, okay. I said I 100% agree with you. Yes.
Yeah, and that is one of the key elements that's really going on, is that they're slowly but steadily doing this thing and kind of pulling the wool over everybody's eyes. And that's not to say that I don't believe that women can be in powerful positions or that women should be mistreated or anything like that, because I'm not saying that at all. But there's a huge difference between a man stepping up and believing that it's not necessarily his right, but it's almost his duty to basically, you know, do that. It's actually like a service that you're doing for a woman and or the community, and for you to want to do it and to be proud to do it and for it to be a part of you. And so as women are taking these roles, because I'll be honest, like when I had this group, you know, a lot of people were asking me to just do a men's group. That's what I was told at first. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do that, because I don't want to take men away from women. I want men and women to recognize that they actually have more in common than they actually have is differences. Like people say all the time that women are this way and men are this way. And especially as we study the Enneagram, we started to really recognize there's not really that much difference. Like me and Tashawn, and I use her only because she's an 8. And there's a couple of people, I think Hickle says she's an 8 too. So as 8s, we just see the world a certain way. We tend to be very direct. We tend to be very cruel sometimes in some of our examples. I have to watch my examples and clean them up before I say them, because, you know, growing up, people would ooh and ah, like, oh my gosh, you know, because I would just take the craziest example. And when I run into women who are 1s and they are very take charge, they're just like guys that are take charge. And then women who are 2s and 6s are just as sensitive and loving across the board. You know, so what I'm
gonna give you love on that.
Yeah, so what I see is that there's more feminine and masculine energy. And generally what I'll say is soft and hard energy. Okay, so a lot of women have hard energy. Okay, and there's a lot of men that have soft energy. That's why Tashawn was talking about earlier about soft men. Okay, because that's the term we use, so we don't say feminine men. So when you're dealing with a soft man and you're a hard woman, okay, that is what the devil has flipped upside down. He's flipped those energies. And so a lot of women are finding it very difficult, you know, to deal with that. But then you have in our culture right now, you know, because I'm gonna be real, you know, again, we got, you know, white and black basically on this call. You have a lot of white men which they've done traditionally for years, they will go to like Russia or Uzbekistan or whatever. I mean, Donald Trump is a perfect example of this. And then they go get their soft woman because they can't find her in America. And now you have Black men that are going to Colombia and to Brazil to find their soft woman and bring her back to the United States.